Cycling through, back to Blizzaga. Oh, pulled the counter twice out, but not gonna find it, and Runoff Shadow Ball will do the tricks at 0. Is all of a sudden up to 78%, make it 90. Another roller doesn't find the mark this time, but a dash attack and forward tilt will only find shield.
Ooh, and now that might just be game. No strong hit, but pop him off the top with the sneakers.
Luddite very aware, I think, of what...
It's the second week of action in the ECAC Overwatch, but there are a lot of changes to talk about, from increased health bars to increased projectile size, rank resets, and more. Last week seems like a far-off memory already with Season 9 in Overwatch just getting underway. However, the one thing that hasn't changed is the drive to win the ECAC, and these two teams are already starting off on different paths. The Dolphins of Staten Island, East Coast Conference champions last semester, starting off their season with a win over UAlbany. In the meanwhile, the Delaware Blue Hens Academy team and Fall 23 top 3 team hopes to bounce back after a first week loss to Roger Williams. As we say aloha, friends, and welcome inside of the booth alongside my partner to try hard, Ray Clutchkey, with you to take you through this second week of action. And Ray, nothing really can be said because both of these teams have only played their first week last week, but now we're playing on a different patch in a new season. So tell me, what sticks out in your mind the most from the long list of patch notes with Season 9?
Yeah, exactly. Throw those records out the windows. These could be two brand new teams in a brand new meta we're looking at. And again, I think it comes down to these DPS. They have been empowered so hard. I mean, we talked about in the last patch where support felt like the strong backbone of any good team. Now it's those DPS. You hit your shots on that DPS, you are going to be limiting heals by 20%, which I was playing comp all last night. You feel it as a tank player. Normally when you would play, you'd be like, ignore the tank, go after the squishies. If your DPS are hitting shots on the tank, you can focus down that tank now. It is insane.
Yeah, a lot of things to talk about here. Of course, projectile size increases as well. Some travel time increases. Far a big change already as well. So we get to see if we see Far at all hero combined HP. It depends on what you have on HP, right? 150 to 175 HP, you get an increase of 25. 200 to 300 HP, you get an increase of 50. And then if you're a tank, you obviously get an increase of 75 to 100. But the big thing, like you were saying, a big one is that the 20% decrease for 2 seconds if you deal damage. Dealing damage reduces enemy healing received by 20% for 2 seconds. A lot to talk about here, and we'll get through all of the patch notes, or at least we'll try to get through a good chunk of them as we go along here. But first map between these two teams is going to be Control as we go down, and our first map is going to be Busan. Nothing changing all across the map, just all around what we will see here in terms of what is Control, right? So downtown, you've got the sights and sounds right now of downtown. You've also got Sanctuary and, of course, Mecha Base. What are we expecting here from Busan, especially with the changes? I know you talked to a couple of coaches earlier on, and maybe to see what these teams are going to come up with. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, it's really going to depend, as we talked about, because this meta is so new and so fresh. I don't think anyone has a clear picture on what the meta is going to be a month, 2 months from now. It's going to be a lot of playing to your strengths at this point, but I heard a lot of people, I mean, Mecha Base is known for its brawl, and that's where we're starting, so no surprises around here, but I have been hearing from a lot of players that May feels extremely strong right now on this patch.
Let's see right now what they decide to pull out here as the Reinhardts will come out. Reinhardt getting a big buff in general, and we'll talk about some of the notes here coming up in a little while. But Reinhardt gets pulled out. You've also got the May and the Bastion on either end. You can see the starting lineups right now on either way. Staten Island, though, the Dolphins, the ECC champions from Fall 23, starts the fall. in the right foot as they've already got 2 picks, and now it's just starting to fall away from the Delaware's Blue Hens falling apart. It'll be Staten Island that starts us off.
Yeah, Delaware had the right idea. Twinkletoes got an incredible May wall to wall off Cammy on that May, but a well-placed Immortality Field coming out from Noob saves the day, and Staten Island is able to win the fight. So the thing about Reinhardt is he got an extra 50 health, an extra 25 shields, I believe, or 50 shields, and then his swing got an extra 15 damage. So he is just gonna, basically, his swing now does as much as the Fire Strike.
Let's see now. Wall blocks it off for just a couple of moments. Does a little bit of damage. You can see Cammy already at 69%, but Riceviz 78% here for the Academy team. Top 3 last semester inside of that Fall 23 Elite Division. They might as well keep this one going as well. Earthshatter is big. We'll get 3 down and a couple of fire strikes to end all hopes of this. Delaware will take it right back at about 33%.
Yeah, that was just well positioned by Delaware, taking the wide angle, being able to push out, get into Staten Island. And honestly, that shatter probably wasn't even needed, but it was just the nice icing on top of a well-baked cake coming out from Delaware. And now they got themselves in a great spot for this next fight. They just got to make sure they keep their eyes on a swivel, because you saw what did to Staten Island. They can do the exact same thing. But look at the fake out. They get through the door.
They get through the door, they charge away, but the App Matrix is there. Earthshatter blocked, nothing there from the Reinhardt of Cammy. And now it's just a little bit of a trade fight. However, App Matrix does get the Bastion. Won't really matter, though. Staten Island gives themselves a little bit more of a chance. And Chongyun getting a headshot on the Baptiste means no more healing left to go here for Delaware. So Staten Island will flip it back in the meanwhile. Or rather, Delaware will keep it on as long as Moonluck can stay there. But Staten Island starting off pretty strong here. It'll just keep going back and forth. 2 ults on either side.
Yeah, both teams showing how extremely matched they are, matching their percentage toe for toe. This next battle is going to be a battle of the Blizzards. Who's going to get more aggressive and who's going to get it more well-placed, as Chongyun is going to throw it in.
Chongyun throws it in right away, and is it going to find anything? It does. It finds a frozen Lucio for right now, and it finds another frozen Baptiste. The Blizzard, huge for Chongyun, just throws it right on in. 4 members dead because of it, and the Dolphins of Staten Island showing up from the East Coast Conference, showing you why they started off 1-0.
And not only do you get the better Blizzard, but you got the Blizzard out of Twinkletoes. For Delaware, they're going to have one more opportunity to try and take this point back, and it's all going to come down to the back of Moonluck. Has this overclock available. He's got to hit some shots and find some kills.
Shields are starting to waste away already. You can see from that Bastion, Riceviz already has to run out of it, and now you're going to have the Earthshatter block. Nothing really there from that Earthshatter. In the meanwhile of Cammy, Sound Barrier will come out. There is the overclock coming out from Moonluck, and both sound barriers will cancel out, but it would be Cozy the one to take that one later. Cammy does get a charge kill onto Turtle Captain, however, so the Dolphins looking pretty good to take map number 1. Somebody else has got to touch the point, which is the Lucio for right now. Just swinging away the hammer. The overtime clock will start to run. How long can this Lucio last? That answer is not very long, as Staten Island starts us off with a 134 over the Blue Hens, and the Dolphins give themselves the mecha base to start off 1-0 here on Busan.
Yeah, Ripser came through with a big sound barrier to mitigate Moonluck's incredibly well-timed overclock, but it's just tough. You know, you use the ultimate at the right time, the counter is just there, and then Cammy comes through on the Reinhardt with the big plays, with the charges and the fire strikes. So already showing how strong this Reinhardt buff is going to be. As we now move into Sanctuary, Delaware is going to swap a little bit up. They are going to go over to the Orisa, and the Orisa, the only change she got was she got some extra health in the form of some extra armor. So Orisa is a lot more tanky now. So it's going to be going up against this Sigma from Cammy. So Cammy's going to have to do a good job at trying to not allow this Orisa just to get into his face.
Let's see, Sigma's only change right now was that generalized buff of the 75 increase in shield, or HP rather, for the tanks in general, as long as you have 300 plus HP on your character to start with. So see what happens. Cammy already Javelin. You can see the difference in ultimates. Riceviz building up to 20%. Cammy at 11, but really doesn't matter in this case, considering Staten Island was already starting off like that, and they were able to win that very first fight to start us off. So here they come. You can see the Tracer in the back line. Twinkletoes just waiting for the right opportunity. Gets rid of the Immortality Field. And now this Baptiste in a whole lot of trouble. Has to get away. Cozy is able to get rid of Ripser. And this is looking good right now for Delaware, who backs off, is able to find 3 picks. That's both of the supports down. Chongyun does have the crowd freeze available, but will not use it to just go down with the rest of the team. And Delaware is the one that starts us off on Sanctuary.
I'm a big fan of the comp that Delaware is running, especially having Twinkletoes go over to the Tracer. A lot of people thought when they saw the changes coming in, I saw tweets out there. They're like, Tracer, finally, she's dead. No, she is a menace on this new patch. Having those passive heals as a flanker and as a Tracer, it makes it easier to one-clip because of the projectile size and the limited healing you put onto the players.
And you can talk about all of the patch notes that you want here, but teams are really just trying to figure it out, especially in the second week, and you don't have the opportunity to play on like Tournament Realm where you can change the patch notes back to where it regularly was. You got to play with what you got here. And Staten Island will turn this right on its head, already flipping the point even before the rest of the team can start to fall. They'll even use the Sim Teleporter to play aggressively back to maybe almost halfway to the spawn doors. Either way, Staten Island brings it back, coming up on the lead.
Yeah, this composition that Staten Island is playing was a theorized composition I was hearing from a couple of teams and players that they thought might be good is this Sigma Brawl composition with Mei plus, whatever DPS you feel comfortable. And the Sim just provides that ability to TP on top of teams, and it's really good as Risper finds a kill despite the immortality field being out.
Ripster does indeed get a kill. Sound Barrier is out there as well. The Sarisa has a lot of trouble just getting surrounded. Does not have a Fortify to work with. The nuke will take down Rice Viz in the meanwhile. So it'll be Staten Island yet again having it. Cozy also using the Sound Barrier. Turtle Captain using the App Matrix, but two ultimates here, both support side, going for nothing for Delaware, just for Ripster Sound Barrier.
Yeah, that cannot be highlighted more and how devastating that is for the side of Delaware. Now they have to hope they're going to find picks with their incoming DPS ultimates. I look at Moonluck once again. The good thing is no Sound Barrier defensively for Staten Island, so these offensive ults can go hard.
The Mortality Field comes up alongside of the Gravitic Flux. There's going to be the Terror Surge from Rice Fizz that's able to take care of Bioactive advantage and manpower to Delaware. However, with the accretion goes the Tracer. That's traded out for Cammy as well, so they keep trading it back, and left we go. But this Orisa's going to cause a lot of trouble, especially with no more Immortality Field. Either Rice Fizz will find two on the play, and Staten Island does get 80% plus, but Delaware's going to flip it back.
And all of that, they only committed the Terror Surge to that fight, so that's a big W after a very bad fight where you used both your support ultimates for nothing for Delaware. That's what they needed to come back into this fight. However, Staten Island, Chongyang has this Blizzard online. It can be absolutely devastating. Delaware has to be aware and ready to reposition away from it.
Full-time barriers are going to be used. Overclock will go ahead and counter that right away as soon as that full-time barrier is down. They've got a lot more damage coming their way with the overclock. However, Blizzard will get used first, and Blizzard lands up as being in the middle, and that might be huge for them. That is huge because Rice Fizz gets caught up inside of it, and Turtle Captain cannot run away from the icicles of Chongyun. They'll flip this right back. It's a good thing you got it only to 83%, though. Delaware's going to get a few more, but Staten Island gets it back for final fight.
Yeah, you'll be able to get a touch if you're Delaware last second. Twinkle Toes will be coming back, has his Pulse Bomb online. If you can make this fight last long enough, you will be able to get both of your support ultimates online. So that's going to be key to Delaware, touching and making the fight lasted. Bioactive's down.
Bioactive is down, but Rice Fizz is traded. DPS for a tank. I think you take the tank any day of the week here, and Staten Island will go ahead and pressure them for it. They'll use the Sound Barrier out from Cozy just to see if they can keep touching App Matrix at the same time, but there's going to be the counter to the amplification matrix with the Sound Barrier for Risper themselves. And now Cammy's just going to find 2 kills. The overtime clock is going to just bleed away. No more chances to touch. And the Dolphins, 100-61 on Santa Sanctuary, 134 on Mecha Base. The ECC champions from last season start off 1-0.
Showing why they are the previous champions and come into the spring semester roaring and ready to go, winning their first matchup in a dominant 3-0. They come into this matchup and it, both maps, all things considered, pretty close. So shout outs to Delaware. They're really bringing their A game into this fight. But all things considered, when you're playing that Tracer-based composition going into the Sigma, I feel like they didn't push the effort enough to get on top of those players. It felt like everyone was kind of fighting their own battle, and you kind of needed the Tracer to bother that backline, which allows the Orisa and the rest of your team to push up.
Yeah, and obviously here too, you're not going to see a lot of consistency with the compositions. Obviously, this is going to go any which way it is because it's a new patch, because we're only 24 hours, basically just over 24 hours removed from this new patch. So teams are going to have to adjust. Teams are going to have to find a way to adjust. But if you're Staten Island, you're liking this new patch right about now, considering you got the first win, 134, 161. So now as we move on to hybrid, things can change here. Obviously, anything in the competitive pool will work out for you, but hybrid, what do you do? King's Row is probably the pick here. It's called Scrims Row for a reason, baby. It's called Scrims Row that, you can try to practice whatever you want on this, and maybe this is the feeling here for Staten Island, or for Delaware.
I mean, I think back to how Mecha Base went and how close that matchup ended up being. That was a Ryan v. Ryan battle. And what do you think about when you think of Kingsrow? You think of the honorable Ryan duel. So I think that's definitely going to be a good shot for Delaware to try and get back in this series, is go at them in this Ryan. I mean, one difference they were having on that Mecha Base map, which I felt like could have made a difference, was yeah, we are getting confirmation it will be Scrims Row. But the main difference was for the side of Staten Island, they were running the Bastion on Mecha Base while Delaware was running the Sojourn. And I felt like the ability to be able to break that shield on Rhine was so big, because then once the Rhine shield's broken, you're able to free fire on him and get that 20% less healing onto him and be able to focus the Ryan that much easier.
Yeah, so we are going to go to Kings Row here. It will be a side swap. So starting off, Staten Island was on the attacking side. This time they'll start off on the defensive end, if you will, when we get into the map here. Dolphins starting off a defensive. Delaware will get the attack first, and we'll get to see, like you were saying, Ryan versus Ryan. However, there's plenty of more things to talk about patch notes-wise if you're talking about any of the tanks. D.Va, you were talking, I know behind the scenes earlier on, you were saying you were playing a lot of D.Va last night. You had the pilot health increase from 150 to 175, but the mech armor increases from 300 to 375. Self-destruct, implosion, explosion, maximum damage increase, and then inner explosion radius increases as well. Doomfist gets a little bit of a buff. Junker Queen gets a little bit of a buff on the Rampage as well. Reinhardt and Winston all get their own buffs. And, well, I mean, overall, this tank side can really get some help with that HP boost, but some tanks getting themselves a little bit more shield, a little bit more entryway as well. So we'll get to find out what these teams pull out here. But I'm expecting, like you said, the Ryan v. Ryan battle. I love the Ryan v. Ryan duel. Let's see who gets the MTD in chat, if you will, probably.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, the thing with D.Va is because of this power that the DPS have been given to apply that 20%, less healing, the defense matrix becomes that much more important, and being able to get onto these hit scans on the high ground who are just applying to that onto your team from a distance. And then I know a lot of people are like, self-destruct is really just used as a remeching tool, but there's a lot of times where that range they added for the 1,000 damage explosion radius is actually a big deal. There are going to be a lot of times where you're going to get caught out by that when you didn't think you would have.
Well, let's go ahead and see what Delaware brings out. And like we were saying earlier, the Ryan v. Ryan. However, big difference. Bioactive on the Torbjorn instead. See maybe if there finds any cheeky picks on the right side. It's going to be Chongyun just waiting in the right side. Knows where the Reinhardt is, just trying to find a way to wall. And there's the wall that's only going to capture the Reinhardt here. And this Reinhardt's in so much trouble. Not enough damage on that wall to save Riceviz. And that's the danger of running into a Mei here. One player getting captured means your fight probably ends.
That's the other thing you have to be very careful about. Both teams playing heroes that have interesting interactions, the Torb and the Sim. So both of their turrets, if you get zapped by it, you get applied that 20% healing nerf. So the turrets become that much more of an annoyance to where you have to constantly be looking out for Torb turrets and Sim turrets and making sure they don't attack your team passively.
Well, luckily enough, they notice where the Torb turret is on the right side of those staircases. And now they're going to go ahead and transfer everybody on over. There's the teleporter out. Nobody can get stuck on a wall this time around. So they're just going to fight here from upper and get the high ground on the upstairs level, at least for Turtle Captain, but we'll drop down with the rest of the team. The Symmetra already falling oh so low now. We'll get back to the rest of the team. 50% along the way for Moonluck on that Sojourn ultimate. Does get rid of the turret yet again, so don't have to worry about a pesky annoyance on the side. It will be on the play. Earth Shatter available here for Cammy. Turns it around, will do a 360, and lands the Shatter onto 3. Immortality Field does absolutely nothing. A Shatter, and a fight over for Delaware.
That's like the ultimate Giga Chad move there from the Reinhardt, is being able to do a 360 shatter and land it. Shout outs to Cammy. That was incredible. And they're able to win that fight with only committing a single ultimate. When you're trying to get a first point hold like this and just put in your dominance, winning fights with single ultimates is big.
Let's see. Now ultimates will start to come online for Delaware. They do have the app matrix. Staten Island having 3 of their own. Chongyun looking for a little bit of a flank here with the Blizzard, and the Blizzard is going to find a lot of people, but it's going to freeze out. It's going to zone them out for right now. Ripster's able to find Twinkle Toes, does get the advantage on the man-wise, and the Reinhardt peeling back just a little bit, but still Staten Island does find it. There's going to be the Molten Core out from Bioactive just to make sure that nobody else can race to the point. There is somebody capping back, however, and it won't even really matter. It was Moonluck, I believe that was there. Gets out. They do get a free tick off of it, but not much more.
However, if you're Delaware, you forced a lot of ultimates out of Staten Island, extremely expensive. So all they're gonna have for this next fight is this sound barrier. So you'll be able to match the sound barrier, and your DPS should be able to pop here with this overclock coming online.
Gotta be careful of the May wall one more time, and the May is all the way back with the rest of the team, so don't gotta worry about that for right now. Free space created here for Rice Biz. Full-time barrier is out. They're trying to use this to their advantage with a little bit of a speed boost. Nothing used yet for Staten Island, keeping hold of that sound barrier for right now. Second ticket's available for them, and now you have the sound barrier up, and the Earth Shatter will find Ford before the wall can even come out. However, the wall does protect them for a little while, but how long will it do so? Turtle Captain's able to find it. They do get the 2.5 in the process, but the Earth Shatter, along with the combo of Moonluck, gives them another 2.5.
And they didn't even have to use that overclock. The sound barrier was enough to find all the kills. So now you have a chance to snowball the second point and get past some of these troublesome hold spots defensively. So they're already going to get past the archways for free. If they can use these ultimates to their advantage in this next oncoming fight, they should be able to get past the bookstore for free, which would be insane in regaining some of this time bank that you lost.
Around the corner they will go. Earth Shatter available yet again for Cammy. 47% looking for the second one. Did a 360 last time. What are you going to do this time, Cammy? Around the corner they will go. Overclock is available. Application Matrix will start this one off. Cammy holding the shield down. They're going to go ahead and use the Shatter underneath the cart to find at least 3 people down. Is it going to be enough, though? They still try to trade out, and Cammy's Earth Shatter might be more than enough. Spawn room still in favor of Delaware, however. This is a scrappy fight. They get a 3-for-2 trade. The Reinhardt in so much trouble, but Staten Island looks like they're going to be able to hold this.
That they are. The problem is they're just not going to be able to play as aggressively. I feel like if you're a Ripster, you allow the team to fall back, and you, as your Lucio, you go back and get these players and make sure you're going to be able to take a full 5v5 fight on this bookstore corner, because Delaware has the ult advantage coming in this next fight. Chongyung, however, this Blizzard could just absolutely obliterate Delaware with no support ultimates online.
There you go. You've got, at least for right now, the Blizzard and the App Matrix to help Staten Island out in this fight. Delaware does have that overclock and full-time barrier. Full-time barrier is going to be used to start this one off the wall, just to contest the corner for a little while. But there's also going to be the Blizzard. Then the Symmetric Turret ain't going to save you. Symmetric Teleporter, nowhere to go. Twinkle Toes, Rice Fizz going down. And with 1:30 on the clock, yet again, a similar time bank to what they had before they got it, but this time they're stuck in the streets.
Yeah, now, just in the blink of an eye, Staten Island has flipped the ultimate economy on its head towards pretty much even, and technically it's going to be slightly favored towards Staten Island. You're going to have both your support ultimates coming online, and you'll get this Molten Core. Moonluck, I've called their name plenty of time. It's been so tough to find value of this overclock, because Ripster has this sound barrier once again.
Overclock will get used this time. Heard the call of the name, but it will still not find anything. Bioactive finds 2 with a minute left to go. This is the situation. You're probably going to have to back up, die here, just go down, regroup with the rest of the team. Right now, you got 50 seconds, then that payload just backing up.
Yeah, you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 final attempts at this, and your ult economy is just dwindling and looking bleak. If you're Delaware, you need someone to make a big play. Does not matter who it is. I feel like Twinkle Toes, you get a good wall off onto Cammy, and you try and confirm the Rhyme kill. That's your way into this.
Gotta be careful of a Shatter, though, in the meanwhile here. If Cammy lands another Earth Shatter like they've been doing all game long, this is going to be really bad news. The May stuck in the Shatter there, but it's blocked for the rest of the team. However, Twinkle Toes does go down, and now there's a little bit of a stun going on as well with the stun out, at least for right now, but the Molten Core is able to find 2. 15 seconds left to go. Not a lot of time here for Delaware to try to make the comeback. In the meanwhile, we'll keep it here for right now as 8 seconds left. Somebody's got to touch this point. Moonluck or Rice Fizz are the only 2 that could potentially touch this here in the final seconds with a power slide as well as a speed boost. Power slide is in, but Moonluck is stuck all the way around, and that's not a good corner for you to be in, as Bioactive's going to chase that down. Twinkle Toes is able to find a kill onto Bioactive, which forces them back for just a little while. Rice Fizz switching on over to the Wrecking Ball just to keep them in play for right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding a good slam. Staten Island has been forced back, however.
Staten Island is forced back around the corner. They will go. Good Maywall for right now. Keeps 2 in, but they still get a good damage of healing there. Application Matrix is up and about for Nuke. That's going to be able to get 1. Sound Barrier counters that for a little while, but it might have been too little, too late to get Twinkle Toes back into this fight. And now Cammy's just going to swing away the hammer. Fire strikes and all. Is this going to be enough for Staten Island to deter Delaware from capturing any more on the streets? It might just be. Wrecking Ball is the only one left to go. Earth Shatter, while you're in the air, doesn't really find anything, but the Wrecking Ball is going to go down anyways, and no chances left for Delaware. 71 meters is all you get. Staten Island holds the fort.
This is my
Yeah, this is a very good position for Staten Island to be in. I mean, normally you think about Kings Row, the main stopping points is, a first point hold or like the very end of second or the very end of third. Like these in between areas, it's not that hard to get to. So I feel like Staten Island's in a great position to go up 2-0 in this series. If you're Delaware, it's been tough. It feels like Staten Island has just done a better job at being able to win these fights with less ultimate commitment, and there always seem to be ahead in that economy.
Yeah, the ultimates really haven't worked out in the way of the Delaware's favor, especially with Moonlight kind of just holding on to the overclock. Like we were saying, really can't find an opening to do so, and even when they use the overclock from the top rope, doesn't really find anything big of note. So Staten Island will go ahead and be on the attacking side this time. They're thinking maybe there's a Mei on the other side, so we'll go Symmetra, and hopefully the teleporter will work out in their favor. Chongyun, though, I'm assuming this Widowmaker is only just a scout for right now, because Delaware's got a lot of damage on their end of the floor.
Yeah, I'm actually a fan of what Delaware is going to try and hold defensively here. This Orisa that's going to be extremely bulky, and you just have a lot of damage to throw onto Cammy on this Ryan between the Bastion and the Mei. The Ice Wall isolation plus the Bastion just turret form damage that can break the shield so quickly. I think it's the right idea. It's all going to come down to execution for Delaware to try and tie up this series.
See how fast they go here away. We will go as the doors open up. Underway. Right away, Moonlock, though, puts up the wall, and the wall doesn't get anything, so now they know that the Mei is there, and now they know that they can just speed right on in. They also have the teleporter going over for right now, giving them the high ground and giving them a chance to build up some ultimates, build up a little bit of momentum, if you will. Trying this from the high ground. Now they'll drop down. Ryan Shield basically can't get away from it, and now the Reinhardt rather gets separated out by this time. A good Mei wall from Chongyun. That's going to separate them, or rather from Moonlock. That's going to go ahead and capture them out. That's going to allow Delaware to hold on to the first fight.
Picture perfect execution. Moonluck missed the first Mei wall. Let's just call it a warm-up. You haven't really been playing Mei like that. Then perfectly nails that second one. They get the follow-up damage on Akami, who's now swapping over to the Ramatra.
Ramatra play here instead. They'll swap off to that for right now, give it a little bit more of a punch feeling. The teleporter will go all the way up again, looking for the upper angle, looking for the high ground. See if that works out. Ravenous Vortex does get a couple of people inside of it, but nothing really doing there. What does get down, though, is Noob, thanks to the damage of Twinkle Toes. The bashing damage just a little bit too much for them for right now, as it'll be Cammy going down. The rest of the team will follow up on kills. Staten Island now having no answers themselves.
Yeah, this Bastion is throwing them for the amount of damage he is able to throw down onto this field. If you think the Reinhardt shield was having a hard time dealing with it, the Ramatra's shield is going to be even worse. To me, whenever I go up against the Bastion, I always feel like Sigma tends to be the answer, because that kinetic grasp can just mitigate a lot of that turret form. And once you get that all used up, then you go after the Bastion.
So you can take a look at the ultimates at the same time. Delaware's going to pull out two of theirs for right now. It'll be the App Matrix. Bingo Dos does not even get a shot to use the artillery strike, as nothing really going down for them. And Ricefist is doing something interesting, just staying in front of the App Matrix. And if they can do something about it. Ricefist, though, will go ahead and use the Terror Surge. Just is going to find anything. It will not for right now. Noob and Bioactive both finding their kills, so the Terror Surge going for nothing. Tried to hold the line. They're not going to find success off of it. Staten Island blows the door open.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do think for the side of Delaware, Turtle popped that Amp Matrix. I felt like it was a little too early. Staten Island was just able to play smart, use their Lucio speed boost to back up a little bit and just buy the time to look for the plays they needed to make, and it was just really well played from Staten Island, which really going to come down to 2 to 3 fights left for Delaware. However, Moonluck's going to have this Blizzard online as the Artillery Strike comes in.
Artillery Strike comes in, blocks off one person for just a little moment. They will just kind of block their progress. For right now, though, Annihilation is available. Cammy decides not to use it. Now will decide to use it as they get a little bit more armor on the reset. But it's not going to find much of anything in that. That Annihilation is just going to go absolutely for nothing. So great cutaway here from Delaware if they want to hold on to this for right now. And it's just Cammy going up against Ricefist, but Ricefist is going to win that all day long, especially with the healing that's coming up. 325, first fight under the archway goes the way of the Blue Hens.
Yeah, being able to hold on these archways. I talked about, on the attack, Delaware was kind of able to avoid this hold as they got really late kills. Now we're seeing the power of Delaware being able to hold defensively here. And look at all the ultimates they're looming, coming up on him. You still have 3 minutes if you're Staten Island, but things are looking up for Delaware. Once again, their Achilles heel. They just have to make sure they continue to win these fights with not committing every single ultimate.
Moonluck does have the Blizzard available. This Blizzard has been pretty good on a couple of moments. Now they're going to use the Blizzard right away on side of that point. And I believe the Ramattra might just be outside of it. The Mei will also go outside of it. Chang'e having their own Blizzard as well. So the Blizzard getting no value, at least in kills-wise. Now the Blizzard's going to come out this time. And no Fortify for Rice Fizz either. Rice Fizz is frozen. Good thing you had a Sound Barrier to counter that out right away. Isn't going to be enough, though. You have the Matrix to help you out for right now. Terror Surge is available. Terror Surge can save you for just a couple of moments. But a Sound Barrier perfectly timed from Ripster to give themselves a win here, as it could be Final Fight territory.
Yeah, this is Final Fight territory. I think you're going to have to swap to faster heroes if you're the side of Delaware. Yeah, Rice Viz going over to the Wrecking Ball. Artillery Strike's going to come out, but it feels like it might just be too little, too late.
Is it too little, too late? No, the Lucio at least gets there. The Artillery Strike is able to get Ripster, but it might be just too late. You had the Lucio as your last chance, and now you've got no more remaining. Staten Island's able to win, and they go 2-0 here in this series. And Delaware on the back heels. The Dolphins starting off this series right.
The former champs are showing no inkling of, falling off of that high horse they had been sitting on, as they have been, looking very good in the series. Delaware has shown some really good flashes. I liked how that defense started off with that Mei, Bastion, Orisa. It just felt like once Staten Island got their footing and played their style, they were able to isolate and find picks. And once Staten Island gets rolling, it is very hard to get them off of that.
Yeah, Staten Island comes in big there with 2 points, 2-1 there on Kings Run. It's 2-0 on Busan, so it is do or die for the rest of the time here. You cannot tie on most maps, well, except for push, unless both teams could just get off the robot in general. But the only way now that this can go all the way to 6 or go all the way to 5 is if we get a reverse sweep. That would be the potential here for Staten Island to pull off. Otherwise, Delaware's got 3 opportunities in match point. And so for the Dolphins, they're looking good defensively at the very least, and then attacking-wise just kind of did stutter a little bit because you had Delaware kind of come up with a good couple of plays, especially on that Orisa and then Mei getting that good second wall out. But now we go on to this next map. It'll be Escort. The streets phase, if you will, in Kings Row was kind of even. It was kind of even on a couple of moments if you think about it, back and forth. Just too much time on the bank for Staten Island to work with. If you're Delaware at the very least. So Escort-wise, what are you picking here?
It's really going to depend. Like, do they feel like they want to go over to more of a dive composition? I mean, we saw on Sanctuary that the Tracer play was pretty good back when they were playing that Orisa. If that's the case, maybe you take us to more of a Rialto where like you play Diva, possibly some Tracer, maybe a hit scan, maybe Dorado where you can play more dive. If you want to go more of the, I personally would love to see the newly reworked Junkertown. It looks, first point looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks insane with all the new cover, with all a little bit more of a chance to not get either, sniped out by a Widowmaker, or Farah gets a little bit of I guess less opportunity to find kills, especially in that cover. Although she did get a little bit of a change, right? Horizontal dashes out and all that, and then a little bit of a change with her hovering ability. But we'll get to find out. It'll be a little bit of a surprise. But instead of the new Junkertown, we'll get to go to one of the newer maps of the entire set in general, and this is going to be Shambali Monastery.
I'm excited. I'm a big fan of this map. It's actually one of my favorite of the Escort maps. One thing we have seen on this map previously is Sigma has been a very main stake, and Ramattra. Those have been like the 2 tanks we've seen the most on this map. We've seen already at some points, Staten Island pulling that out. So would be curious to see if that's going to continue to curry favor with these teams, and what are we going to see out of Delaware coming onto this map. We haven't, like I said, Sigma and Ramattra have been the 2 main ones we've seen throughout, all the play. We haven't seen them pull out those tanks yet.
Well, Ramattra home here, Zenyatta home here, and I've been hearing a lot that Zenyatta is one of the few plays that could be pulled out here, especially with that Orb of Discord being able to help kind of a little bit with the increase of health with everybody. So it's not going to be the case this time around. They'll pull out something very similar. Baptiste, Lucio on either side, Mei's on either side. Big thing, though, Delaware will stick with the Bastion. Bioactive will go with the Soldier instead. But the tanks, again, Rice is staying on this Orisa. We'll find out what this gets pulled out as is. Delaware right now just trying to push upstairs, and this is a little bit of the uphill battle that already starts you off, just trying to get rid of anybody that's on that high ground in general. So what Delaware will do is go around maybe on the left side, maybe speed them out, either that or maybe fake them out in general. Well, no, the play just charge right on in and see if you can find anything. That 836 nade does get a couple of hits, but it is going to be enough, and that's a great nade wall. Now they're going to play tiny Overwatch here just to play alongside of the walls, and that's going to be Cammy gone, which usually should mean that a tank gone is a Delaware win. 3.5 minutes left to go, only 30 seconds in. It'll be the Blue Hens at least advancing for right now.
Yeah, they do get them off the high ground. They're going to get free push on this cart, but they're just now getting under the car right now, so they're not going to get as much distance as they would have liked. As Staten Island should be able to come back, and they're going to get a fight as they're rounding the corner into this long corridor that we're seeing Moonluck on right now. But this Orisa, Bastion, May, once again, it does a lot. It's hard for Cammy on this Ramatra to stay alive. It's just so much damage.
Let's see if they can keep this damage up for right now. Amplification Matrix is absolutely going to help that. Too bad it's not around the corner to try to help you out, especially that they're hiding for right now. So the zoning-wise, Amplification Matrix does push them away, but not much else to do other than that. And Cammy just kind of just sitting here almost at the full ultimate for an annihilation, which very well could help them out. But RiceFist getting rid of Rips would mean that you're at a loss of a support, although that's a quick support to get you back in. And now with the crowd freeze gone, that's going to be the annihilation popped out. However, the annihilation will run out of time. Great cutaway from the Blue Hens to give themselves a chance at this fight still. RiceFist does have Terror Surge available, might not even need it at this point. Maywall's going to make sure that this Ramatra is still in play. Artillery Strike will come out along with the Sound Barrier. Staten Island will pull off the Overclock at the same time, along with an Application Matrix to see if this finds anything. Terror Surge is in. Bioactive slides inside of that Terror Surge, and that's not good news for you because Newman's already gone, Immortality Field gone, and the Blue Hens get advantage. Cammy's gone as well, one of each roll, and Delaware is going to find their first point.
Just extremely well played. The positioning from Delaware, excuse me, to kite back once we saw that annihilation come out, and it just felt like Cammy was just left sitting, you know, just caught. As now we're going to see them swap over and match the Orisa. We're seeing full-on mirror comps now coming out. The question is, will Staten Island be able to execute this composition to the level we've seen Delaware play it so far?
See if they can for right now, as you've got another good Naywall. There's going to be the Blizzard, but the Blizzard eats in inside of the Javelin Spin. Moonluck with no luck on that whatsoever. It's Jungyeon, Bioactive, and Cammy all finding their picks. The one Blizzard gobbled up, and absolutely nothing for Delaware on the play.
I mean, extremely, again, to get an E onto a Blizzard with the Javelin Spin, you don't see that every day. So, I mean, that's just recognizing situations. Sometimes you can see when you feel that ultimate is coming, you press that and it happens. It's just very well played on the side of Staten Island and Cammy.
Let's see here, Delaware comes up with nothing on their board. Staten Island comes up with a Sound Barrier to use should they need it for right now. Cammy and RiceFist are just going to go right up on each other, and the walls are just going to melt away. And the Sound Barrier is going to be used first. That's going to lead them right on in. And now RiceFist in a whole world of trouble. Immortality Field can only keep you up for so long. RiceFist, Twinkle Toes all going down. DPS is out of the picture. That Javelin throw just onto Turtle Captain. Delaware stumped for right now.
Yeah, as I mean, kind of expected this for the next couple of fights. Delaware threw out a lot of ultimates, and now they're trying to regain their advantage back into the ult economy, which has been one of their problems, is this wastes so much time. Staten Island still has 3 ultimates to be able to use in this fight. So if you're Delaware, you look to try and take another fight, force out ultimates, and regain your ult economy, and look for the next fight to be your big main fight.
And he does have the Terror Surge available, Bioactive using the Artillery Strike right now, and that's going to be a big combination for them. The Artillery Strike at least finds the Immortality Field, and it's going to find a help onto Cozy as well. Just the shred away damage. No answers whatsoever for Delaware right now, with Staten Island's just blazing right through this. Terror Surge plus the Artillery Strike combo pretty much equals death with 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, what's the old saying? Anything you can do, I can do better. Staten Island is showing that as they have now taken the mirror and are taking it to Delaware. However, this is the situation Delaware was hoping for. Forced a lot of those ultimates out of Staten Island. You're coming in with a full war chest of your own. So all you have to worry about is this incoming Blizzard and Amplification Matrix combination, but you'll have Cozy Sound Barrier to help out with that.
I want to point out, too, look at where that payload was to start off. That payload was all the way back to where it first started after they got the points. So Staten Island winning a couple of fights forces it all the way back there. They may even force it back to where it was again because 2 kills already falling. Delaware, good discipline at the very least. You don't use any ultimates in that losing fight, especially losing a player early on. just trying to find any damage, any kills whatsoever. They reset with 1:15 left to go.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate losing a fight like that because you're just only allowing Staten Island to match your ult economy. Look how close they are to having a full war chest of their own now. So that's going to be a huge mistake that may come back to bite Delaware, as now they need to get into this fight, get aggressive before these ultimates can be built up for Staten Island.
Hard thing is you can't really go and battle this second floor unless you get the speed boost and you get some kind of opportunity. Application Matrix is going to start this one off kind of just zoning again, and that's been another thing for Turtle Captain, using the App Matrix, but really getting no value out of it for right now. It's going to be Staten Island going ahead and swirling them all the way around. Terra Surge is going to come out, at least stop Terra Surge for right now, but it's just going to be melted away. Rice Fizz does absolutely nothing with it. There's going to be the Terra Surge. Cammy will get one. The Artillery Strike will combo up with that for 2 of their own. 30 seconds left to go. Delaware uses 4 to absolutely nothing.
Yeah, this is going to be Delaware's next fight, however, because they at least held on to Moonluck's Blizzard of Staten Island, threw absolutely everything into this fight. 50 seconds left on the clock. Staten Island has a chance here to, they may not get the point, but at least get some more distance here to give themselves a fighting chance.
Got to touch the point, if you will. 8 seconds left to go. Good thing the payload is at a low enough elevation where you can get to it without really needing a speed boost. Yes, you're right. Moonluck does have the Blizzard in general. They know that, so they're going to just kite back for right now. They're going to allow a little bit more space and allow that meteorage to build up for a little while. Great Maywall, though, that blocks them out for right now, but is it going to be enough? And it might not just be because they have the Immortality field out. The Maywall will keep them there inside of that fight. They do get at least the Bastion for right now, so it makes it a 5v4 situation, man advantage-wise. Does Delaware have enough to bring this all the way back? Ultimates-wise, nobody's got anything on the board, so this is a completely dry fight. And Moonluck will get a headshot onto Cammy, which helps you out. No Mercy Reds to help you out either. They'll push it along with 800th of a meter left to go. They will go ahead and cap this point, and they will add another 90 to the bank.
Yeah, I mean, again, as I mentioned, the key for Moonluck, because we saw previously that Blizzard got eaten by that Javelin Spin, they waited to see Cammy use that Javelin Spin. We saw that on camera. As soon as they saw that pop, they threw the Blizzard right on top of the entire team, and it just absolutely eviscerated them. So for Staten Island, you were in such a stronghold defensive position, but they went and blew all their ultimates in that second to last fight, and that was a big mistake.
So now they've only got 90 seconds to push this one up. Not as much of a time as they did last time here. We'll see if that works out in their favor. Terra Surge available for Rice Fizz. You've also got the Artillery Strike left to go. There's going to be the build-up, and it's going to be 2 people inside of that Terra Surge Artillery Strike. However, the combination doesn't really work out when you got an Application Matrix alongside. The Bastions are ripping away at all the health bars. 40 seconds left to go. Delaware tried. Delaware fails.
One final fight for Delaware to try and get this point across the finish line. You will have the sound barrier to be able to maintain and sustain in this next fight. The Staten Island is, this is so close, but they have a lot of ultimates coming online. It might not matter.
The big thing, though, too, Cozy does have the sound barrier, but they lose out on the Baptiste, and that Baptiste is gone until they spawn right now with 15 seconds left to go. So this is going to have to be a stagger fight, if you will, just to find somebody to touch this point. Or rather, the payload, if you will. 8 seconds left to go as the clock starts to wind down. Somebody's got to find a way to touch it. It'll be the lead in. The Maywall will stop them for a couple of moments, but it won't be enough for right now. Terra Surge is out. Everybody kites away. Sound barrier is out. That at least forces that out. And now Delaware's got nothing on the board except for a Blizzard. Chongyun's got the Blizzard out, but Chongyun pays dearly for it, trying to get in on the side of it. And now you lose the Baptiste at the same time. It's going to be a scrap fight left and right. However, if you're thinking that it's Staten Island's favor, it is absolutely, with just the Lucio left to go. Bioactive is able to wipe away 4 on the rest of it, and Delaware stopped in their tracks one more time. Yes, they get another point off from last round in King's Row. They do get 2, but Staten Island forces the fence yet again.
That was just a big play coming out from Cammy. With that Blizzard and Terra Surge combo they used, they at least made sure they confirmed the kill onto Turtle, got that Baptiste off the field. There went all their healing, and then that allowed Bioactive on the Bastion to do their thing and just unleash all that damage, and you just couldn't out-heal it. Your Baptiste was gone.
Yeah, and for Staten Island right now, trying to go on the mirror works out for them successfully, although Delaware did get at least that last fight down, considering it was pretty much a dry fight. So if you can keep it dry fights, more or less chances you could win it if you're Delaware. However, Staten Island having those ultimates really, really made them pay the price for it. So now we'll get to see what they pull out here in for both sides. Delaware's on the defending side this time, so you can't really change at this point. We're going to see the mirror one more time. Maybe Bioactive gets a headshot or 2 because the Widowmaker gets pulled out, although that probably changes. I'm assuming that this is a bait at this point. They're changing to the Widowmaker, changed to the new Pharah instead. Who knows?
We'll see. Delaware continuing to stick with the composition that has that has at least kept them in the series and kept it close. And they're being a little sneaky. They're like, let's crouch, let's play this close, catch them off guard. I think that's a very smart decision. Instead of just playing the high ground and be like, look, you come get us, we're going to come to you. We're going to be aggressive.
They're going to try a different part of the playbook here. There's going to be the start off, and the Maywall just captures everybody, but the Maywall doesn't separate them out. Instead, they're playing in a lower elevation for right now. So they're just going to try to spawn hold this as much as they can. Halo does get a little bit of movement, but it's not even going to matter with the fight keep going on. Here, Chang'an falling also low, doesn't have the crowd freeze to work with. However, Tammy might just be the hero here with a lot of slows coming out from Chang'an's death, as they've already got 2. And this spawn hold might just be failing considering where the spawn rooms are. Yes, you waste away only 30 seconds before it, but just the damage and the pressure coming from Tammy, the rest of the Staten Island, gives them the push.
Yeah, I think it was a nice attempt coming out from Delaware, but Staten Island did a great job with the counter Maywall to block off some of the players from being able to follow up on the damage from the DPS players of Delaware. So very well played from Chang'an, as now they're already onto this hill corridor in just the blink of an eye, as Riceviz swapped over to Sig.
Riceviz swaps over to Sig. First time we'll see the Sigma today, at least in the series for right now, just backing them off around the corner. 836 grenade, not really finding anything for right now, as Immortality Field already having to be used. That Bastion falling oh so low. Good thing you don't need the Immortality Field there either. Delaware does have the Application Matrix on their own. Tammy coming up on a Terra Surge. Bioactive gone though, Cammy's also gone, so this is just going to force them all the way back. So the Sigma might just be deterring them a little bit.
I like the swap onto the Sigma, as I talked about. Whenever I run into a Bastion, and I've just seen that Sigma does a great job. You have not only a shield, you have your kinetic grasp. If you use both your shield and your kinetic grasp properly, you can completely mitigate the turret form, and then your team is able to go on and get rid of that Bastion as the Ant Matrix gets popped. But again, it feels like zoning coming out from Delaware.
Feels like zoning pushing them back. Nothing really doing with the artillery strike either, so 2 ultimates basically going to go for nothing here for the Blue Hens at the very least. Staten Island coming up with 4 on their own. They're going to pull out the Terra Surge. They're going to pull out the Blizzard. This is going to pull in everybody, and this spells trouble. Blizzard Terra Surge combination is all you need to win this fight. Staten Island with the statement on the 2 combo.
Yeah, and they should be able to ride this to a first point capture. It would have been confirmed with the Lucio get if you would have gotten the Lucio kill, but it's not going to matter. 4:12 on the clock as you come into this next fight for Delaware. You have a lot of stuff in your tool chest. Can you make it work and limit how much you have to use? But Bioactive already found Moonluck.
Moonluck had the Blizzard as well. Could have been a win con for them in this fight. However, that's just going to allow more free space here for Staten Island. There's going to be the Sound Barrier that comes out, forcing them even farther back. So they use the Sound Barrier just to push up. Meanwhile, the payload, nobody's touching the cart.
That feels like a big mistake, the fact that no one was touching cart that entire time, because they use Sound Barrier there to get aggressive. If you're going to do that, you need someone to be pushing that cart to justify using ultimates like that to push up. Now Delaware gets to come back. Blizzard's now out.
Blizzard's now out, but everybody's going to get outside of it. So more or less zoning artillery strike combination for Bioactive. Doesn't find anything, and Bioactive pays dearly for it. Now the Immortality Field just waiting this out for right now, just making sure that they've got a chance at a good wall, at least to block up the nade for right now, but it's going to be the rush down. Baptiste in a whole lot of trouble. There's the Gravitic Flux. That's up. That's going to capture at least 3 people inside of it. Gets rid of Ripser. So the Gravitic Flux, and there's the Sound Barrier counter. That's going to make you think twice about using it aggressively. And Staten Island stopped right in their tracks.
Very... it felt like Staten Island was getting a lot of momentum there, but Delaware played it patiently. They knew what their win condition was. They get a huge Gravitic Flux coming out of Riceviz, and they're able to make it work. However, this is where things get tricky. All they're going to have is an Ant Matrix, and we've said time and time again, their Ant Matrices have really just been zoning, while Chang'an has been so good with these Blizzards. He's going to have it for this fight.
Going to have the Terra Surge as well, so the Terra Surge Blizzard combination maybe one more time. Application Matrix is out, and yet again, they will kite away. That's around the corner, so that'll zone them out, keeping themselves at least a little bit of time for Delaware to recover. For the rest of the team, Staten Island does have, again, a Terra Surge combination just waiting for the right opportunity to do so. Just trying to hit a couple of more icicles to build that one up. Doesn't have it yet, which means Delaware still has a little bit of opportunity. There's going to be the Terra Surge. There's going to be the Blizzard at the same time. Nobody is going to be able to escape, not even the Lucio. It'll be another 3 kills. And just that combination is so deadly as they add another 90 with 3.5 left to go, maybe even in the series.
That was literally the comment I was going to make. I'm like, man, that combination is so deadly. It is ridiculous. I mean, we used to think about, Gravitic Flux and Artillery Strike getting comboed. Who would have thought Terra Surge and Blizzard looking really good for Staten Island? They're going to have 3 minutes on the clock, and they're in a situation where basically all they have to do is win one more fight.
They have to win one more fight here. Artillery Strike is going to be used very early on, maybe to see if that uses anything. It does. It actually forces out the sound barrier. So now if you're Delaware, you've got at least an opportunity for right now to try to fight this cleanly, as Twinkletos is able to get rid of Bioactive. A huge chunk of your damage is now gone. They force out the sound barrier, and that might have equaled success for you for right now. Chongyun's gone as well. They stop them right at the 7-meter mark.
Oh, definitely. For a artillery strike by itself to force that sound barrier, you will take that every day till Sunday. And Cozy, who's now swapped over to the Kiriko, had a very key Suzu in that fight to keep Twinkletoes alive on the Bastion to be able to throw out all the damage onto this field. So very, very well placed swap coming out from Cozy.
Also be aware, Cammy's got another Terra Surge available. No Chongyun Blizzard available with it. Maybe they'll try to make this final fight. Terra Surge is out, pulls out everybody on this team. There's the Suzu out. Suzu might have been just a little bit too early though, as that forces out at least a couple of kills. Rice Fist is able to find 2. Ripser and Cammy get 2 in return. However, if you're thinking that Delaware's got, or Staten Island's got a chance at it, well, they've got spawn room available, so 2 minutes left, they force them back.
That they do. However, Kinetic Grasp is now out. If you're Staten Island, that should be the green light to go, go, go.
Do they have the go button is the problem. They have the Gravitic Flux out. Rice Fist has to be big with it. Do they have enough? They might not just have enough. Application Matrix this time right above on this window. Can't cut away from it. Chongyun's able to find one in the meanwhile. And now Chongyun doesn't have the crowd freeze. You have your own Application Matrix, and nobody else is going to be able to touch the point. It ends. It goes uno dos adios in the sweep out of the closet. Staten Island starting off the season 2-0 in the ECAC.
2-0 and 6-0 map count for Staten Island. Looking extremely strong coming into this new conference where they gotta, they needed to show that, we were the champions of this other conference coming into ECAC where you got some big boys like Fisher. They are, making a big statement coming into ECAC.
Yeah, big statement coming into the ECAC itself. A 3-0 record, or rather series, a 2-0 record, 6-0 map differential. Meanwhile, for the Delaware Blue Hens, number 3 last year inside of that Grandmasters Plus division. Might have to find something else out because they are now 0-2. Number 3 last year, at least in that division overall. So they fall down to 0-2 with a 1-6 map record now. Just got to find some answers. In the meanwhile, though, it will be the Dolphins of Staten Island moving up their record to still a perfect 100, but we're still overall just trying to find out what the real composition is, and maybe Staten Island just found it. Maybe that Blizzard Terra Surge combination just deadly all in general. So, well, we'll find out what the teams want to do, but I guess that means we will start to wrap it up here, by the way, for all of us here at Esports U. Thanks to our producer and Clippers, our producer Colton, as well as our Clipper, Professor Layton, and our observer Cool Scoots. From our partner to Try Hard Way, we thank you for watching this entire presentation of Esports U. Final score one more time. Staten Island winning the entire series 3-0 on a sweep, 2-0 on Busan, 2-1 on Kings Row, and 3-2 on Shambhala Monastery. Tomorrow, by the way, ECC Valorant at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time between Southern New Hampshire University and Utica University. Until tomorrow, everybody, right here on Esports U, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.